Left of the box. Going to get into a lot of Doug Ford stuff. And it's not just Doug Ford provincially, but it's also Doug Ford federally. Like, the day may come when he tries to run to be prime minister of this country. I wish that was satirical in that statement, but nothing would surprise me these days. It wouldn't surprise me if the next leadership convention for the federal Conservative Party he tries to run and would win, considering everything he's doing here and he's still winning. Anyway, things that are corruption, things that are crimes, things that would collapse any other government seems to have no effect on the Doug Ford Conservative Party. But there are scandals that are happening within that party that the public is now being made aware of, yet nothing, there is no pushback. There's no, people should be going to jail for what that conservative government is doing right now. People have gone to jail for doing exactly what this conservative government is doing, yet there's never any accountability. So here we have Doug Ford's chief of staff missing months of government texts after phone was reset. And this is from Global News.
As chief of staff, Patrick Sackville is Premier Doug Ford's right-hand man, the top staffer tasked with implementing the government's agenda. But Sackville is under scrutiny because months' worth of his government-related records have been lost, all because of what the government says was a mistake.
This is an inadvertent error.
Global News recently filed a Freedom of Information Act request for communications between Sackville.
Just remember what happened when a whole bunch of things went missing from Hillary Clinton's emails and stuff. There are politicians in Ontario using their personal email, using their personal phone devices. Doug Ford is one of them, who gives out his personal phone number. He does government work on it, yet he keeps those records sealed. He doesn't allow his phone records to get out there. Here's another staff member, and there's a whole bunch of them, where this is the same problem, where they're using their personal devices for official government work, which means it's not in the records.
Phil and Metrolink CEO Phil Verster. Verster turned in cell phone text messages that included redacted information related to government business. Sackville didn't submit those same conversations. Sackville later admitted that those text messages were on a personal cell phone that was traded in. A vendor then reset the phone, meaning all of his government-related records over the course of 2023 are now considered to be officially missing.
That was funny how that happened, where a phone just gets reset and all of those records just go missing. Okay, you don't do that by accident. It's intentional what they did, obviously. Because, even when I get a new phone and all that sort of stuff, somehow, a lot of my texts and all my information is still there because it gets transferred over. For this to be happening, and there's proof that it has happened, because like they said, the correspondent, the person that he was having the correspondence with, had a copy of those texts, but then he didn't submit those copy of texts because, phone got reset, dog ate homework type thing.
The time that multiple investigations into the Greenbelt grab, including the OPP's initial investigation, were underway already. Deleting records related to government policy using personal phones or not is against the law.
This was an inadvertent error. And again, as I've said previously, it is important to note that the records in question are reflected in identical corresponding records.
Deleting government records is a serious offense. During the Liberal gas plant scandal, Dalton McGuinty's former chief of staff was convicted and jailed over the deletion of emails. A decade later, the Ford government finds itself under similar scrutiny over its handling of the Greenbelt.
So where's the accountability? There needs to be people going to jail for what is happening right now in the Ford government.
Some of the missing files may be related to the RCMP investigation. So what has happened is very questionable, very shady.
Earlier this year, Global News also revealed how Sackville relied on Gmail to run government business. What's unclear is whether those records have all been retained and turned over to the government. This is not just a suggestion. There are actually laws in place governing all staffers who walk through these halls of Queen's Park. Everything they touch that could be a government record, whether it's cell phone, text messages, emails, or even handwritten notes, have to be retained for future records. And it's also the head of the individual department that's responsible for making sure that everyone in that department is compliant. In this case, it is the chief of staff and the premier himself who are responsible for making sure that all records in the premier's office are preserved for the record.
The amount of what this government is getting away with. Where's the accountability? Where's the law going after him? Like, this shouldn't be allowed. There's so much money that Doug Ford has wasted in this province. So many things he has taken away. So many things he's planning to take away. So many corrupted deals. So much money, taxpayer money, being funneled to his buddies for, the spa and everything else that he's trying to do. Where's the accountability? Like, a lot of why the United States is in the situation it's in right now is because they were never holding people to account for the crimes that they were committing. You go back to January 6th, way back then. If their government had held Donald Trump accountable for the incitement of the riot, they wouldn't be in their situation right now. But whenever you refuse to hold them accountable for their crimes, it's not like that makes them, cautious. That emboldens them. It emboldens them to do more. And then they get into this whole thing. It's like, well, are you really going to hold me accountable now when I've already gotten away with all these things? Like, why are you now? It's biased because you're cracking down on me now type bullshit. Like, it's just ridiculous that so much corruption is going on right now in this government. And the law, which is generally speaking friendly with Doug Ford, but the more he gets away with, the more he'll do, the further he'll go, the more money, our money he'll spend, the more of our systems he'll privatize. The corruption just keeps getting worse.